Hi, I'm Jim with Pour the Juice, and in today's video, I want to talk about what some of the top distilleries taste like. Um, and by top distillers, I mean most popular distilleries. I've got 5 of them here today, so this is gonna be a part 1. If you want to see more of this, just let me know. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a part 2. I can move on to other distilleries. And as always, if you like the video, please like it. Please subscribe to my channel. It does help. And yeah, I'd like to get started. Also, I do have my washing machine going in the background, so if you hear some of that noise in the background, I apologize. But let's get started with number 1 here. And we're going to start with Jim Beam. You know, Jim Beam is kind of notorious for what their whiskeys taste like. And of course, I don't mean all of their whiskeys. Some of their whiskeys don't have this flavor profile to them, but that is kind of the flavor profile that they're known for, and that is peanut. Especially Booker's, they do have a nuttiness, more so a peanuttiness than other nuts that that do run through their whiskeys predominantly. Now this one isn't too bad, but there still is a little nuttiness there. Knob Creek doesn't have as much nuttiness, but it's there. And so it would be for me nuttiness number 1, vanilla and like traditional bourbon flavors would be number 2, maybe a little honey back there as well. So if you're watching some videos, watching some reviews on Booker's reviews, you'll hear on really good ones, you'll hear a lot of the honey roasted peanut as opposed to peanut shell, a stale peanut shell. Nobody wants to drink that. But yeah, Booker's number 1. That's what the Booker's, or that's what the Jim Beam Distillery kind of tastes like to me. Number 2, why not? We'll go Buffalo Trace. And what does the Buffalo Trace Distillery taste like in my mind? The main flavors that kind of go with each Buffalo Trace bottle. To me, that's going to be fruit, um, and predominantly red fruit and grape, and that can exist in many different facets. Red fruit, like I'm talking berries, um, fresh cherries in some aspects, and then that moves to like cherry cola and some of the higher value Buffalo Trace products. But then grape is another flavor that kind of runs through, and that's what I get on Buffalo Trace itself. Is I get a little grapiness on the nose and on the palate. Cheers. And there it is. It's almost like a grape Laffy Taffy. So that's what I got on the Buffalo Trace mash bill. If you go with Blanton's, I think that's mash bill 1. I think this is mash bill 2. Maybe I have them reverse. The Blanton's mash bill to me is more apple than it is red fruit. Um, but in general, for Buffalo Trace, I do get a fruitiness that I don't get on a lot of other distilleries. So Buffalo Trace, fruitiness, red fruitiness, grape, apple. That's what I get. All right, another favorite of Elijah Craig here. So this is obviously for Heaven Hill Distillery, and the predominant flavor that I get with Heaven Hill products are going to be brown sugar. Um, that seems to be, what I get at the most out of the higher end stuff too, is usually a brown sugar mixed with other flavors, or more high quality brown sugar. But when I think of Heaven Hill, that's what I think of. Some of these other distilleries have more caramel or butterscotch or whatever it may be, and you get some of that in Heaven Hill products. But for me, brown sugar, if I think brown sugar, I think Kentucky whiskey, I think Heaven Hill. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This is actually an infinity bottle, but for the sake of the video, cheers. All right. On to the next one. Number 4. It's another favorite of mine, specifically Jack Daniels. And this reaches out to a lot of other Brown-Forman products as well. But for today, we're going to stay Jack Daniels itself. The Jack Daniels Distillery is known for having a banana flavor that runs through a lot of their products. And that runs from good old Jack number 7 all the way up to, Jack 12, Jack 14, um, barrel proof single barrels, even their ryes, people get that banana flavor on them. And like I mentioned, other Brown-Forman have that as well. Woodford Reserve, I get it. Old Forester, a lot of people get it. But Jack Daniels is really what people think of when they think of banana flavor in a whiskey. Secondary to that, I would say caramels, and this rye has some chocolate and a bunch of other goodness. Cheers. But yeah, Jack Daniels, banana. That's what you get from the distillery. And the 5th bottle that I have today for this video on what distilleries taste like. Russell's, or should we say Wild Turkey. Now, when I think about Wild Turkey, I think of a few different flavors. And Wild Turkey is one of the only distilleries where I can't really pinpoint, out of the major distilleries, can't really pinpoint a specific flavor profile. Because to me, Wild Turkey tastes like citrus. It tastes a little leathery. Vanilla, of course, cherry, of course. But it's kind of an amalgamation of those Kentucky bourbon flavors with more citrus turned up. But if you ask Kurt from SLB Drinks, my favorite bourbon YouTube channel out there, whiskey tube channel out there, he would say sweet and sour. That's what he gets. Let's see if we get it. I could see it a little bit. More than anything, I do get the citrus. I do get caramel. I do get vanilla. And I do get cherry for Wild Turkey. There's also some cinnamon. But that would be number 5. Let's get them all out here for the end of the video. For the flavor profiles of these top 5 whiskey distilleries in the US. Let me know again if you want to see part 2 of this and what distilleries you'd like to see me go over for their flavor profiles. Thanks for watching. Cheers.